Excellency Minister Masic, Excellencies, Minister from different cantons, and ladies and gentlemen, my dear colleague from Council of Europe, thank you for inviting me and for being here for this opening. And first of all, I would like to congratulate Minister Masic for taking the initiative of organizing such an event, because I remember when I came to Bosnia-Herzegovina, which is like 4 years ago, and I was talking about preschool education with, I think, many people who are in this room, and many ministers from the different level. You could see it was still something which was not seen as such a priority, and I've really seen over the last years preschool being placed on the agenda, and this is another proof of the investment and the priority that the country at different level is putting on preschool education, and I really appreciate and want to congratulate with that. Because I think that preschool education is extremely important, and it is proven that it's important for different reasons. When we look at a child, there are a number of studies that people in this room, and looking at Franco, who is probably going to give some presentation on this, but it is proven that the link, a very clear link exists between the development of the brain of a child and the environment in which a child is living. There is also a link between whether a child has access to good preschool education and his achievement, in learning achievement, the level of dropouts, the level of repetition. So it is definitely something which is of the first importance for the development of the child, for the social, emotional, cognitive, physical development of the child, and that's why it's also part of the Convention of the Right of the Child. It's also key to invest in preschool education for economical reasons, because the society achieves savings, because when we're talking about less dropout, less repetition, even less involvement in crimes, there is a link, there are different studies which show that children who have access to good preschool are less involved in crime later on. So all of this represents saving for society. But there is also another important aspect, is that when children have access to good preschool, the parents, and in particular the mother, are more available to be able to have another economical activity. So that's also another economical impact. And a third reason that I would like to highlight here is the question of inclusion. It is also proven that it is a way of including the most vulnerable part of our society, and I'm talking about minorities, I'm talking about children living in rural areas, poor children, and so on. So the whole question of inclusion is very well addressed when we invest in preschool education. And that's why we are still concerned with the low level of preschool education. I think it's important at the same time to recognize that there is an improvement. In 4 years, the levels, according to the latest mixed data, go from 6 to 30%. So I know there are different numbers, but if we take any enrollment between 10 and 15%, let's say it's higher than it was some years ago, but it's of course extremely low and much lower than in some neighboring country like Serbia, it's over 40%, for example. And as it was said before, it's probably one of the, if not one of the lowest level in Europe and in the whole region. So there are a number of challenges ahead of us. So the trend is positive, but there's a number of things which need to be done. And that's why I'm happy to see that there are some important steps that have been taken, which we've been participating. So starting from the fact that we do have a framework law. It is a law, as you know, which stipulates that children have access to 1 year of preschool education. It is a low number of hours, we're talking 150 hours, which is not ideal, but at least there is a law on something stipulating that preschool education is important. There was also very recently an information, as you know, which was approved by the Council of Ministers, for example, about the importance of setting up a strategy on preschool education. So there are some important steps which are put from the legal point of view and also on the political agenda. Also something that we've been seeing as positive is working closely with some of the cantons who are present in this room. We were able sometimes to match funds. So for provided that the canton would invest more funds in preschool education, as UNICEF, we could help. And so I see in some cantons for the first time there is a budget line on preschool education. Even if the amount is not as big as it has to be to enable all children to have access, it's a very important step because the budget line is there, and as we know, it's easy afterwards to increase it. We also have some interesting initiative at the municipal level. As you know, we did, together with the Minister of Education, a call for proposal last year, and almost half of the municipality of the country applied, which shows a very high demand, and we're now working closely with some of them. I was in Zepche a couple of weeks ago with this interesting program which is focusing on children in vulnerable areas, in rural areas, and I was talking to the parents and to the teacher, and the impact that it has. The parents were unanimous about it, the impact that it has on the development of the child and on making the parents' life easier, because they can also have more time to do other things and potentially develop some economical activity. So these are some, I would say, of the strategies that we have to continue to work together and really work at all levels. The other aspect is strengthening capacities. And I think some of you were, last week there was a seminar which was organized with some experts from France who has one of the good model on preschool education, and there were representatives from all cantons, also from a political side and from this BiH. So that's also something we have to continue to work at strengthening capacity. So I see a number of important things happening, and this conference of today is definitely extremely valuable because it brings different models, and it really gives the opportunity to the country to learn from the different models from other countries and develop your own model, because you obviously have to develop a model which responds to the needs of each part of the country, and I would really like to congratulate for the steps that are taken, and please count on UNICEF. We continue to be together in this journey. Thank you very much.